Hi, everyone. Welcome to another Coach Mo Live. If you're watching me on Facebook, say hello, comment. This is Coach Mo Fall. I am America's career coach, creator, and founder of the Kick Ass Career Workshop, where we help women bring their souls back to life so they can land their dream job and have a dream career. It's a lot of fun to be able to have a promotion, salary increase, land a new job, no matter what the economy is doing, all without working harder, without playing office politics, without being inauthentic. Our clients soar from the inside, and then they have an external outside outcome. We love seeing our clients succeed from the inside out, if you will. And if you're a professional woman who knows you deserve more fulfillment, more recognition, and money, keep listening. You're in the right place. This episode, I'm covering some total badass women in our history. I had the opportunity several years ago to meet Katherine Johnson as she was in her final years of life. She passed away in February of 2020. She was a massively changing, badass, awesome woman. She was the NASA mathematician who you saw her story and story of her colleagues in the movie Hidden Figures. She was a mathematician before the days where we had computers, even calculators. She was slide ruling it, all doing the mathematical equations which allowed the rocket ship in the 60s, the first one that landed to the moon, allowed that rocket ship not to combust. So she did the calculations to make sure that it was thrusted properly, didn't heat up too much, and make sure it was safe for the astronauts, who were all white men who were prejudiced against her. You see, Katherine was an African American woman in a total white man's world. And here's the interesting thing we can learn from Katherine. She was who she was, and she was determined to have her talents and gifts come out into the world. She faced obstacle after obstacle. I am certain that she faced being spit at, sneered at, demeaned all the time. And I'm sure it hurt. She's a human being. But what she had, which is what we see our clients claim, is that inner resolve to be who she knew she must be in the world. She was a mathematical genius, and she wanted to make a difference in the world. And this is exactly what we help our clients do as well. Sort of like our client, Joanna, who was she's a talent and recruitment director, and she was in a toxic environment that wasn't letting her be all that she could be. She was feeling stifled, pushed down. Maybe there was some race stuff involved. Here's what she did. She booked her complimentary career clarity call. She said, I need help. I'm stuck. I can't figure out how to get out of this toxic environment and really own my worth. Because you see, what happens is that when you get beaten down enough, you begin to believe it. And I'm sure our hero and badass icon, Katherine Johnson, had many times where she felt beaten down and pushed down, just like Joanna. Joanna started working with us and over 12 weeks landed a fantastic job at a $60,000 pay increase, which also meant that she was playing at the level that she knew that she could all along. She rose to the occasion. I'm going to tell you what, I don't know how pioneers like Katherine Johnson do it. They must be leaning into some greater source and are destined for greatness, and they know it inside. And they stay tapped in and tuned in to that greater source. I call it your soul. Katherine Johnson stayed tucked into that, and she persevered through all sorts of hardship to lift the NASA program up in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and beyond in her career. If you feel powerless to make changes in your career, if you feel stuck at the same income level and feel like you're not able to advance, either because you're in a male-dominated field or because you're just being sidelined. I don't know, did you say the wrong thing at a meeting once? Did you piss your boss off? Or are you someone who's going to isolate in hard times and you melt into the background? Our client Patty did that. She began just melting into the background as a woman who does leadership development. She decided she just wanted to stay in her computer writing stuff and doing what she was told, even though she knew she wanted to be more creative and do more of her thing and express herself more and play on a bigger stage, which she finally was able to do when she began working with us. But when you feel powerless, you don't see your value and you tend to overwork, people please, and your influence wanes, and then your career wanes. Again, Katherine Johnson is a hero for all of us. From 1918 to 2020, she was a human being on this planet, and she showed us what true gifts and talents, God-given gifts and talents, and a strong, powerful soul can do. Just like Wilma Vaught, she was a military general in the Air Force. She joined the military in the 1950s. Wasn't a very promising situation. You see, back then, there were actually restrictions on how many women could be in the military and the capacity at which they could serve. Wilma didn't care, and in 1957, she was commissioned as a second lieutenant after completing officer training school in San Antonio, and she commanded the Women in the Air Force Squadron section. Of course, it had to be just the women in the Air Force. She actually became a general and the first woman to deploy with a Strategic Air Command operational unit as the executive officer and chief of the Management Analysis Division at Guam. She lived her truth and kept moving forward and moving up. She had a fantastic career, fully decorated as a general. She too was in a male-dominated environment, and we can only imagine in the 50s and 60s and 70s what that may have looked like. How about this? Sheila Michaels. Sheila was looking for a title for a woman who did not belong to a man. So she did not want a Mrs. Smith, for instance. She wanted to be known as herself. And back in the 50s and 60s, that didn't exist. As a matter of fact, even back then, women couldn't even have their own bank accounts. I know. In my lifetime, we have gone from that to 50% or more of the households here in this country are breadwinner women. And here's Sheila Michaels looking for a little name that would be in front of her name as a personal address. Mr., Mrs. were the names, and you could have master, which we wouldn't use nowadays when you were an unmarried man, but there was miss that she didn't like. So she took to the radio in 1969 during the height of the second wave of the feminist movement and brought the now ubiquitous term Ms. into the limelight. That radio spot influenced another feminist pioneer, Gloria Steinem, who adopted Ms. as the name for her groundbreaking magazine. So Sheila Michaels basically fought long and hard to have an identity that didn't say whether she was married or not married. She wanted a non-married, I don't know what that's called, an address, Ms. And she helped coin the phrase Ms. in front of a name. Speaking of sort of wanting your own identity, there's the story of this woman named Faye Delmundo, who was born in Manila. She was one of 8 siblings, 4 of who died in childhood. And those tragedies motivated Delmundo to become the doctor who could make a difference. Among her many incredible accomplishments, she began college at 15, and she was the first woman to be accepted into Harvard Medical School. The admissions department thought she was a man because of her name. They didn't realize that she was a female. And she ended up protecting hundreds of children during World War II. In the occupied Manila at the time, she was responsible for being a physician over pediatric hospitals and helping promote immunization programs to save kids from dying in childhood and infancy like many of her siblings did. and she promoted family planning and breastfeeding. Until the very end of her life, Dr. Delmundo did hospital rounds, even when she was in a wheelchair. She passed this life at 100 years old in 2011. Effie Manley was another pioneer. At the time when sports were 100% white male owners and athletes, Effie Manley refused to subscribe to gender and racial stereotypes. She made history as a sports executive, co-owning the Newark Eagles, who were a baseball franchise in the Negro League, with her husband Abe from 1935 to 46. The Negro League was its own black-only players, while the black players were not admitted into the major baseball leagues until Jackie Robinson. But Effie Manley's team won the Negro World Series in 1946. Her husband died 6 years later, and she became the sole owner of that baseball team and was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2006. I'm going to tell you this. These women and the women who we have the privilege of serving as our clients are beacons and role models for us to know what's possible. If you can't take inspiration from these women, or if these stories are like, yeah, but that's a very unusual person, yeah, but that, what happens is when you get your soul's truth ramped up and you come from your soul power, you too can be an icon, a role model to your family, friends, coworkers. I see this all the time. Not only was Nadia in the IT segment of a business application that she was developing and working 90 hours that put her in the hospital, but she was in a male-dominated field, coming out of a divorce, having 3 young kids. She was overworking herself to exhaustion, landing in the hospital. Nadia booked her complimentary career clarity call, and by the way, that's mofall.com/talk. And immediately she knew the resonance of the soul work to help her get her career right. She needed healing inside, and she had ignored it for years, finally depleting herself. We were able to lift her up into her soul power, into her truth, and direct her right into the lane that was the next career move for her. She wasn't able to do it on her own, and there's nothing wrong with that. What is a shame is that so many women are stuck, depleted, thinking poorly of themselves, and stay that way. Don't let that be you. Let these success stories, not only of my clients, but of these iconic women from Katherine Johnson, Wilma Vaught, Sheila Michaels, Faye Delmundo, Effie Manley, and literally thousands of iconic women who have changed the face of work, career, possibilities. They didn't do it for fame. They did it because their soul was so urging them to be all that they could be in the world. Nadia in IT, Joanna as a talent and recruitment specialist, Patty in leadership and organizational development, and literally over 1,400 other women that we have worked with. My team and I have helped lift their careers from the inside out. Don't let defeat be the answer. Don't let shrinking or overwork or perfectionism or people-pleasing be the answer for you. We work with women who are fired, laid off, toxic work environment, underperforming, underemployed, underpaid. I would say all of our clients are underpaid. Women are all underpaid in the world. There's few exceptions, but the statistics haven't changed much. We're still making less than 80 cents on the dollar compared to our male colleagues. And there's a lot of reasons for that. We solve all of them in our Kick-Ass Career Workshop. Let's have you be the iconic role model version of you, and let these badass women of history inspire you as they have inspired me to tell their stories today, to lift you up to the next level. You don't have to be a NASA mathematician written in stories and having a movie made after you to make your mark. You need to be your soul-powered version of you. And no matter what your profession, when you get your soul right and you get aligned with your career accomplishments and you're leveraging that at another level, that promotion, that up-leveling, that increase in pay is now available to you. Let's help you clear the soul. Let's help you soar in a whole new way. Let's help you get that soul so bright and shiny that they're compelled to promote you, include you, lift you up, new job. And when you do, you'll be making more money than probably you've ever made before. You know, a couple of years ago, we added up the aggregate new income that we got women over a particular year, and it was over $8 million in new money that we were able to lift women into that particular year. Every year that gets bigger and bigger. It's at a point now where several hundred women a year are continuing to get between 30 and 90,000. 90,000 is our big number for this year so far. $30,000 to $90,000 more. And what's more important than that, or as equally important, is the soul self being lifted, feeling awesome about yourself. I don't know about you, but feeling awesome about yourself when you're feeling depleted, beaten down, toxic environment, underpaid, underemployed, solving that is priceless. Being able to earn more money, to have a better life, to have more financial freedom is just a winning combination. Let's get that for you. Let's help you solve this plain small, not sure where to go. Perhaps you don't have a strong vision on the next move for you. We can absolutely help you get that in a way that is fully aligned with your soul. Let's move forward on that. If you're watching this and you're inspired, please share the video. If you're a client of mine, please comment below and let the world know the great work that you've been able to do with your soul shining brightly. And if you're not a client, let's book that complimentary career clarity call where you can talk to one of my team members and we will absolutely diagnose the problem of your career. And if we can help you, if the work that we do is a match for what's going on, let's get to work together and make this your best year ever. Let's have you be the role model of your own life. This is career coach Mo Fall, mofall.com/talk to book your complimentary career clarity call, and Mo Fall or Coach Mo everywhere on social media. Hey, hit me up with a connection on LinkedIn as well, and let's watch you soar to the next level. We're here for you. Career coach Mo Fall, mofall.com/talk.